Hey everyone, welcome back to Autonomy Farms, and today we're going to be getting into a new video. And before we get into the video, please go on and click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let's go on and get into the video. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Wildwoods Beekeeping Podcast. Thank you all so much for joining in. It's still kind of early, so we will give some time for some folks to join in. I see Brian from Flower Street Farm Bees. Hello from Colorado. Grayson, thanks for checking in, Brian, over there from Colorado. So I appreciate y'all checking in tonight. As I said, we'll give some time for people to jump in for tonight. The last time I did my live stream was the week before last, so it might take some people some time to jump right back on. But anyway. So the last couple of days, as yesterday, I uploaded a video. I'm sure most people saw that, and then haven't really done much in the bee yard. All of the colonies that I have are all still alive. Still have 13 colonies that are alive. They're all looking well. I've been doing some inspections. If you watched my recent video, you would have seen that. If you haven't, maybe after this live stream, you might want to check it out. You'll see some of what's kind of going on inside of my colonies. They're all looking pretty good. For all of them. I haven't inspected all of them, just a couple of them, and plan to do more this week and even some into next week. And later on, I'll kind of get into some of our temperatures, which is supposed to be really, really warm this week. Really not that much cold weather. There is going to be a night this upcoming week, I think, to be Thursday night or Wednesday night, where we're going to be getting down into the mid 30s, 30 degrees. So that might be kind of cold compared to what we've been having, but shouldn't have too much of a problem. Just going to have to make sure they're fed well, make sure they're not too low. With all the warm weather that we've been having, they've been flying a lot. They've been flying a lot today in the past couple of weeks, with it being pretty warm. And this upcoming week is supposed to be some highs in the 80s in midweek. So we'll get into that later as well. But anyway, tonight's topic we're going to be talking about is the Yellow-Legged Hornet. And the reason I kind of decided to talk about this topic is I've seen a lot of people talking about it, many people kind of discussing what this is, kind of what's going on, and I figured I'd do a presentation about it, kind of talking about kind of, number one, what is this hornet, how does it work, the life cycle, and how does this hornet affect our bees. So there's no need to panic. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who kind of heard about this yellow-legged hornet kind of starting to spread around into some nearby states in the South, because last year, actually 2 years ago, I actually talked about the same topic, the yellow-legged hornet. You probably can go back on one of my live streams and you'll see it. I talked a lot about it on that live stream 2 years ago. It's been a while, but it's back then it was just in one state, Georgia, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. But they're starting to see some yellow-legged hornets starting to move around in Georgia and even some other states as well. So no need to panic, but I do want to kind of talk about it. It's always good to be proactive and prepared rather than unprepared and reactive. You definitely don't want that. I've talked a lot about that before as well. I see Jessica Fairfax. Good evening, Grayson. Tuning in from Virginia while baking and cooking dinner tonight. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday to your daughter. And thank you for checking in tonight. We had a high of 64 today. I fed up my management colonies with fondant. Good to hear. It seemed pretty, I guess, pretty warm for y'all. I mean, today the high was around 69, 70 degrees. It's kind of what's been kind of hanging around the past couple of days. It was a real nice day today, and even kind of hot compared to what we've been having, a couple weeks prior when we had colder weather. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my presentation up. I'm sure usually more people join in around the mid section of my live stream, so more people be in later. But I will be doing my presentation real quick. So if y'all are kind of watching, and I'm not gonna be able to answer questions or anything, so I'll answer questions after after this presentation, and I'll just kind of go back and kind of look at what y'all are kind of saying. And also, on y'all's way in, make sure to click that thumbs up button. I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen. I see Mike. Hey, Mike, thanks for checking in. I appreciate you. Let's see here. There we go. I'm going to put that there. And, oh, it's not over yet. It says thanks for watching. But there we go. Get back to the first page. All right, there we go. So, I pictured up the wrong thing. Sorry about that. There we go. So tonight's topic we're going to be talking about is the Yellow-Legged Hornet. And also today's President's Day, so happy President's Day to everybody. So I have the kind of custom background for tonight. But tonight's topic, I see Richard just out of the corner of my eye right when I'm getting started. Thanks for checking in, Richard. Bee Collector Rick, appreciate you. And Mike, I appreciate you all checking in. So tonight's topic we're going to be talking about in this presentation is the Yellow-Legged Hornet. Been hearing it's been a lot of people kind of talking about it. I'm sure you've probably heard it a little bit as well. People kind of discussing kind of what's going on, what we need to be doing, things like that. No need to panic because that just does more harm than good. Always just stay well-mannered and all. And this live stream isn't to scare anybody or anything. Just to kind of inform people on kind of what this hornet is about, maybe its life cycle, some maybe a little bit of biology mixed in, and most importantly, how this hornet affects beekeepers and, importantly, their bees. So first, let's start out with a basic question most people are kind of curious about, and what is the Yellow-Legged Hornet? So the Yellow-Legged Hornet is scientifically known as Vespa velutina, or some weird name like that. Vespa velutina. That's how I guess that's how you spell it. But anyway, this hornet is a invasive hornet species that originates from Southeast Asia. And a popular hornet that a lot of people know about, I'm sure you've heard about it, is the giant hornet, the Asian giant hornet. So it's not a giant hornet, but it is related to the giant hornet. So that's why a lot of people are kind of worried about it. So So it means that word invasive is really important here because it means that this insect did not evolve alongside our native insects, including honeybees. And because of that, there's a mismatch in defenses and behaviors. And one big difference in behaviors between our regular, European, bees that we have here in the United States, Italian bees, Caucasian bees, some of those regular breeds, even Russians, compared to Asian bees, is Asian bees have been right there alongside these yellow-legged hornets and even the giant hornet. So they've been able to fight against these other hornets. And the way they fight against these hornets is by bottling them up and killing them that way. And the way they do that, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen videos, it's really, really cool and interesting, is that they have a heat tolerance a couple degrees higher than the Asian hornet, so therefore they can flap their wings all in a ball and ball the hornet, and they have a heat tolerance a little bit above what the hornet has, so they can basically cook the hornet alive while they don't die. And that's a very pretty cool little thing there, their defense mechanism against these hornets. And even yellow-legged hornets or even giant Asian hornets goes for the same thing. So let's talk about some identification and physical traits. This is a really big challenge for mini beekeepers, early new beginners, intermediate, even experienced beekeepers. With identification, it's because the yellow-legged hornet has a mostly dark body with a noticeable orange band on the abdomen and most importantly, bright yellow legs. So that leg color is the most reliable visual clue and where the name comes from. As you can see, the yellow-legged hornet. So it's not the largest hornet that people have seen. It's smaller than the giant hornet, which can make it easier to overlook or misidentify because there's many hornets that are the same size that we see all the time, hornet species. So that's why understanding these physical traits are very important, especially as sightings are being reported and identified. All right, so this is a big one. It's always important, when we have other problem, when we have these problems, whether it be varroa mites, small hive beetles, other pests and predators, is to understand their life cycle and their nesting and how their life cycle works, so we can have a kind of idea of some ways to kill them. So maybe some weak links in their life cycle. So maybe we can hit a certain time of year with mites and be able to kill them, with oxalic acid, in various other ways like that. And it's also just very interesting to learn and be able to understand these other, pests and predators, just to kind of get an idea how their life cycle works. So like many social wasps and hornets, this species operates in annual cycle. So a single queen overwinters and emerges in spring to start a new colony. Early nests are small and hard to spot, but as the season progresses, the colony can grow very quickly. So usually by late summer, these nests can house thousands of individual hornets. Many nests are, built high in trees, which make detection very difficult and often means populations can grow for quite some time before anyone knows they're there. So we'll kind of talk about the life cycle of the hornets. Let's see if I can get that picture a little bit closer. I'm sure y'all can see. So first we start into the winter season, which they overwinter. It's just single queens. They overwinter in genes and protected sites. Then you get into spring. Those queens emerge, and then they start, building the primary nest. And then they'll have the first couple of workers. So they start out very, very small, not really that big. So, you can't really detect them, like I mentioned just a second ago. So then you get into summer where you get a lot more. They start growing, as you can see kind of in the illustration right there. So this is kind of where summer is whenever they start trying to hunt for bees and maybe some other other prey as well, so they can go back and feed that to their larvae. What they'll also do is go into the hive, and if they can kill the colony, you've seen that with giant hornets. They will go into the colony and get the brood, the bee larva, and feed that to the hornet larva. And then in autumn, this is when they start to die off. It's whenever the extinction of the nest, death of males and workers. It's not like a bee colony where the bees will survive over winter. They do kill the males, but the workers will go through winter and the queen will go through winter all as one. The only hornets that go into winter are the queens. So that's the only way. That's the only bees that go into winter. Then then it just goes in a cycle, and then the queens reemerge and then build their nest, and that cycle continues. That is the life cycle, basically. That isn't really into detail. It's just for basic people who are trying to understand these hornets. Don't go too deep. It's for basic beekeepers who just want some basic information. So that's kind of what I try to do in my live streams. So let's now start with hunting behavior. So let me get my thing. I just kind of got to. There we go. So let's start. Another thing I kind of want to talk about is hunting behavior. So this is where the yellow-legged hornet really becomes a concern for us beekeepers. So rather than attacking the hive directly, these hornets use what's called hawking behavior. So what they do is they hover in front of the hive entrances and wait for foraging bees to come and go. So when a bee leaves or returns, the hornet grabs it right out the air. So this method is incredibly efficient and, more importantly, stressful for the colony. Let's kind of talk about how does these hornets affect bee colonies. So, number one, you can see a increased forager loss. The real danger or the damage often isn't just the bees that are killed. Colonies under constant predation pressure will often stop sending sometimes foragers altogether. So bees hesitate at the entrance, activity drops, and food intake slows down. And we see that sometimes even with beekeepers just opening up the colony too much. And a lot of people may not know that bees can get stressed. If you open up their colony too much, what will a lot of times happen is they are not able to get work done. You keep on disturbing the colony, and they're not able to raise brood efficiently. They are unable to store honey and make honey and various other things. So it's not just with this hornet, but with just us sometimes opening the colony too much. That's why I've mentioned a lot where we just need to inspect once a week, and even better, just once every 2 weeks. So a lot of times, when food intake drops, brood rearing slows, and even honey starts to slow down as well, the colony starts to be weakened. So over time, this stress compounds with other pressures like mites, diseases, and nutrition issues. And sometimes not even the hornet might put some pressure and stress onto the colony, but other factors as well can kill the colony. Finish off what the hornet started. Give me just a second. I just accidentally stepped on my light. I gotta plug it back in real quick. Let's see here. There we go. So let's now talk about let's just kind of compare these hornets to native predators and kind of why it's a little bit different. So it's important to remember that honeybees already deal with predators. We all know that yellow jackets, paper wasps, and even birds can take bees in. Also, you also have other things as well, which can kill queens in the area. A lot of times, that's what happens whenever you have dragonflies and various other things. They like to eat bees as well. Usually, those don't cause much of an issue. The main issue with that is queens going out and trying to mate. A lot of times, queens won't come back in. So then the whole process gets disrupted, and you have to put. A lot of times, what I have to do is put a frame in there and get them to make a whole new queen cell, and that's just real frustrating. But sometimes it's just natural what happens. A lot of times, dragonflies will go up there. It will kill the queens and eat them. So I deal with that too as well. They with dragonflies during springtime, it can be an issue. But anyway, not just birds, and a lot of different things can cause issues. Even mites are an issue. In small hive beetles, those are just pests, not really predators. Kind of a little different there. But anyway, the difference is that these predators exist in balance within the ecosystem. Bees recognize them and respond appropriately, but with an invasive predator like this, that balance doesn't exist yet. So bees don't recognize the threat the same way as they do the other threats that they face. And the environment hasn't adapted to keep populations in check. So that's what I kind of talked about earlier about Asian bees have adapted to these hornets very well and have found ways to live with these hornets. Bees, I'm sure have found ways to live with predators and pests in our ecosystem because they've been around them for a while. Now they haven't been around mites in small hive beetles for that long. It's been, I think the mites were introduced in the 1990s, and same with the small hive beetles. So it's been about 30. It's been about 30 years with them being in the same ecosystem. So they've kind of adapted, but we still have to help keep everything in check. All right, so many beekeepers have talked about this hornet. And by the way, before y'all, while y'all are checking in, make sure to click the thumbs up button on your way in. That I appreciate that a lot, and make sure to share it out if you will. I appreciate that as well. Clicking the like helps this get the video, the live stream out to more people, and hopefully help some beekeepers out there who want to learn about these hornets and various other things as well. Okay, but anyway, I want to kind of talk about why this hornet gets so much attention. So, a lot of the attention around this hornet comes from what we've seen happen in other countries, especially Europe, in Asia, and in some in countries in Europe. So where it has spread quickly and impacted beekeeping operations. Add dramatic videos, headlines, and social media amplification, and it's easy to fear to take over. So while the threat is real, but it is exaggerated a lot, that does not, help beekeepers make better decisions. I've always said it before, understanding context is very, very important. Context matters a lot. I've talked a lot about that before. I'm sure y'all saw live streams and have been talking about that. I just kind of talked about some monitoring, some detection stuff. So early detection is one of the most effective tools we have. Seeing a single hornet doesn't automatically mean disaster, but it does mean staying alert. Reporting sightings helps researchers and agencies track spread patterns and respond appropriately. So community awareness, especially among beekeepers, is key to preventing establishment. And what we've been kind of talking is about these hornets have been already starting to spread along inside Georgia, and I've heard reports going even into some other states nearby. So I'm sure I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Once I'm done with this, in a second I want to talk kind of about what states should be the most alert and alert about these hornets, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in just a second. All right, so what should you know? So right now, the best thing beekeepers can do is to stay informed and not panic. Strong colonies are more resilient to stress regardless of the source. Panic reactions often cause more harm than good. Focusing on overall colony health, continue good management practices, and rely on verified information rather than rumors. So, thanks for watching, but I do have one more thing I kind of want to talk about that I did not put in this presentation. What states should be the most alert for these hornets? So, of course, these hornets really were found in Georgia. I remember talking about and reporting on it 2 years ago. It was in a Pacific county. I can't not remember the exact county. Y'all let me know which one because I can't really remember. But it was a certain colony, certain county that these hornets, were in, that were found. I can't really remember exactly, but anyway, the most that they've been spreading throughout Georgia and even reports into some other states. Most states that would want to be on high alert for these hornets would be the ones nearby, like Florida, Alabama, where I'm at, and maybe South Carolina. Maybe even North Carolina, those states that are nearby. Now, for northern folks, I guess if the problem got that extreme where they expanded rapidly, they might get up there. But if it's just I don't really can't really answer that question for you northern folks. But I don't think they're gonna get up there that quick. Anyway, that's it for the presentation. Thank y'all for watching the presentation. I'm not done yet. I'm gonna be live for about another 30 minutes and we'll kind of wrap things up. Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Let me go back into the comments and see what's going on. See if anybody else is in here. I see Randy. Good evening, y'all. Gunline Bees, Tim and Hannah. Thank y'all for checking in. I see Russell. Russell Amon, hey Tim and Hannah, appreciate y'all checking in, and also see Randy. That yellow band at the top of the abdomen is very distinctive too. Very, very well. I talked about that just earlier as well. Pull it back up real quick and go back to some of my presentation real quick. And then I also just saw a question real quick. I want to answer that as well. I'm gonna go back in here, see if I talked about trapping. I talked about that in my last presentation I did 2 years ago. That was not in here. I forgot to touch on that. I apologize. I think that would be something that I would kind of want to mention about trapping, because I talked about that last year. How can you trap yellow-legged hornets if you spot them near your hives? There's some different methods. I'm sure you can do. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who prefer, different methods or whatever. But there's many. You probably could use regular traps. I have some regular traps around here. There's some. Y'all can say what y'all kind of like and what you would prefer. I haven't spotted any. I'm always on full alert, but I don't think they're here yet. But there's something I do wish I put in there, and but I don't really, to be honest with y'all, don't really know much about trapping with those. And I do know about yellow jackets and some of those other pests, small hive beetles, but we haven't really dealt with these hornets, so not really familiar with all the different trapping techniques. Now I know a lot of people over there in Europe who live alongside these hornets know a lot more than I do on how to trap them and get rid of them, near your apiary. I remember watching some live streams and stuff in the past, kind of talking about that. Hey Shane, Ziggy's Bees, good day again, Grayson. 2 days in a row. I'm lucky now. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate you. All right, so I see we have some 13 people in here tonight. Thank you for checking in. If y'all will click that thumbs up button on your way in. So I uploaded a recent video today. It already has 195 views. Pretty good. I haven't uploaded a video like a real one, kind of, about my bees, about vlogging video. I haven't really done that in a while, so I wanted to upload one and did pretty well. I was kind of talking about what's going on around here. And I'm gonna kind of talk more about what's going on around here. I'm gonna talk about my weather. So here's the weather forecast for this upcoming week. We three are watching from South Carolina, about an hour away from the Yellow-Legged Hornet. Yeah, that's right, because I remember, the reports talking that there have been some spottings in South Carolina, and I've heard that from various people. Who was it that I heard it from? I think it was Cayman. I think they had like a live stream kind of talking about the same thing as well. Anyway, so today the high was around 70. I think that was it. 74, 73, might have been 75. I can't really exactly remember exactly where it was. But tomorrow the high is gonna be 73. The low is gonna be 54. Oh, that's gonna be warm. Tomorrow's gonna feel nice, mostly sunny. Today to me it was actually kind of hot because we haven't really been having, it's just been used to kind of a little bit more cold weather, so we're just kind of getting more used to it. Wednesday going to be 76, going to be a nice day that day. Low's going to be 57, and here we go with warm weather. On Thursday, the high is going to be 80 degrees. That is right, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's warm. The low is going to be 59. The high Friday, same 80 degrees. Low is going to be 60. Looks like some scattered showers on Friday here. Saturday, the high is going to be 75. Low going to be 51. Sunday, the high is going to be 68. Low is going to be 37. And I was talking about earlier, Monday night is going to get down to 33. 1 degree away from freezing temperature. So we just want to make sure the bees are fed well next Monday. Make sure they have enough food, basic stuff. High's going to be 62. And then we'll get right back into warm weather. 63 for the high on Tuesday. Low is only going to be 41. Not bad. And then next Wednesday, the high is going to be 72. And the low will be 55 degrees. So as you can see, very, very nice warm weather. But we got to watch out for cold snaps, because just because it's warm does not mean it's spring. Don't mean we're out of the clear. Easily going to be another cold snap, usually around Easter. And going to be another one here soon in February. Probably going to be some more in March and around Easter. Usually always around Easter. So there's our temperatures going to be nice and warm. Looking, I like warm weather, but just want to try to hopefully just stays warm. Either want to stay warm or stay cold. I'm fine with either one of those. Whichever, just let it stay warm. But if it's going to be cold, I prefer to stay cold. It's all these inconsistent temperatures sometimes can mess up colonies. As many of y'all know, I've been kind of talking a lot about it. It's about my Etsy shop. Kind of want to talk about that again. So I'm going to put the link if y'all haven't seen. I'm sure y'all have. I'm talking about it a lot. So if you've already checked it out, thank you for doing so. But if you haven't checked it out, I appreciate if you would. And if you would, you don't got to buy anything, but I would appreciate if you would just go over there, maybe favorite something, maybe even follow the Etsy shop. It just kind of does the same thing that the YouTube thing does, kind of hopefully gets it out there with the algorithm. Kind of same thing. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for checking in, Lee. I appreciate you checking in over there from Louisiana. So I actually was able to add some more listings. I've kind of talked a lot about that. So these are kind of some newer stuff. So over the past couple of days, I've been kind of building some stuff. As y'all know, I build stuff. I enjoy doing it. In free time, I like to build, and I put some new listings. So you can see some bottom boards, top covers, migratory covers, a box, and then a kit for $99.99. Of course, you got to include shipping. It depends on where it ships to. So main thing I've been kind of trying to promote or whatever is the top covers. So the top covers, the migratory covers, I thought they turned out really, really well. Pretty basic design, pretty much similar to everybody else's, because almost all the migratory covers are pretty much the same, except for maybe some tiny little details. But it's only for $26 for a 10 frame and $23 for an 8 frame. I'm probably going to try to put a 5 frame on there as well for probably around $18, $19, $20. Probably might be a little bit more cheaper. It might be around $17, $18 for a 5 frame, for a nuke. Those turned out really, really well. The design, and I'm going to use it for myself and to sell. So, not just for the Etsy, but for myself, because I'm going to need some for me, because I'm kind of getting some low on some bottom boards. Hey, Keith. Hey, Grayson, and everyone else. I appreciate you checking in. See some more folks are kind of joining in here in the midsection. I always say, usually folks start joining in around in the middle of my live stream. I kind of noticed that. Usually I'm running right now with my presentation, but I kind of got off a little bit early on it because it was kind of short. So there's just some new products right there. Just kind of wanted to mention that. Also, if you would, make sure to check it out if you haven't already. It's called Wildwoods Honeybee Co. I already put the link in there, so I'll put it there again. Would pin it. I don't know if it's gonna let me pin it from my side. But if you would check it out, I appreciate y'all. You see what you like about it. If you haven't checked it out already, if you've already checked it out, you don't got to go back and check it out again. Don't feel like if you've already checked it out, you got to go back and check it out again. You don't have to. Just trying to put it out there for people who haven't checked it out. Lee says, sting that like button. That's right, y'all. Make sure to sting that like button. It helps me out, helps the live stream out, helps the channel out. And I appreciate that from y'all. I greatly do. So there's that. And then, of course, the regular listings that I've had on, hats, mugs, honey, and then some stands and 5 frame boxes. So basic stuff. Those are just the new stuff right there. The hive kit, which comes with the 3 stuff that's on the right, just all together. And then the box by itself, and then the top by itself, and then the bottom board by itself. The bottom board, what's the bottom board? $28. $28 for it to be unfinished, and then $32 or $31 for it to be finished in a white coating. And then the bottom board, actually top cover, I didn't put an option for finish. Maybe I will next couple of days. I'll put that there. And then the box, I think I did put a option for paint. I can't really remember, but I do 2 options, whether it be unfinished or painted white. I found a nice idea I'm going to do is do some more paint stuff, because I actually a lot of my boxes are painted different colors, yellow, blue, just different colors. I just various things. I usually use white, but DC's Bees. Hey everyone, thanks for checking in, Dave. I appreciate you checking in. Hey Brian, just seeing you started a live. It's a bit late at night for us all, man. Watched it yesterday. Good chat. Yeah. I think Brian and Todd have been doing a chat at what's it been, Thursday night. I try to check in as much as I can. I've been trying to watch as many live streams as I can. Been kind of tough, you know. So many live streams, always great to see, many different people doing chats and try to support as many people as I can. So I guess that's not really. Is there anything else that I kind of want to talk about? I guess that's about it that I have to pop up. For people who kind of just checked in, that's kind of, if you kind of want to look at our temperatures, I kind of just went through it, but that's kind of it. If you want to kind of see it again, pretty much warm weather, but you gotta watch for Monday. It can be kind of cold. Now for you northern folk, like 33 degrees ain't cold. I mean, what you talking about? But 33 degrees, it's cold for us. For us, it is. But just for me, just gotta watch out for food. Just make sure they're fed well. Don't want them to be too low on food, which I've been making sure that they're well fed. So if y'all wouldn't comment in the comment section or whatever, make sure you tell me what's going on in your area. What's your temperatures? Kind of what's going on. For me, beekeeping related stuff. I've just been kind of talking about Etsy shop and my weather. Beekeeping stuff. Not really a lot going on right now. I've been able to do inspections and starting to do that. If y'all saw my recent video, y'all saw that. If some of y'all saw, I'm sure y'all some of y'all might have, but was able to inspect some colonies. They're all looking good. Pretty much same thing that they did going into fall, really. And all 13 are alive, all doing well. So I'm glad about that. I'm glad that they're all still doing very well. And that's about it. What's going on here? I mean, there ain't really much else going on. See, Dave says chance of snow in Portland. We might see some here this year. Oh wow, chance for snow right now. We don't really have much of a chance for snow. It's been pretty warm, but I do expect another cold snap here in the next couple of weeks because we always have some type of cold snaps. With this, I always say, just because it's warm doesn't mean it's spring. That's definitely, definitely the case. It's not spring yet for us. It's just some warm weather. Just gotta watch out for some colder weather. Just make sure, I've talked a lot about it before. Inconsistent temperatures. Just don't want them to be low on food, and then a cold snap comes and kills the colony. They starve. Yeah, that's right. Todd and I alternate whose channel we hosted on. Be sure to follow Loma Vista Bee Company as well. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought y'all kind of went back and forth each week for y'all's live stream. I think it's Thursday night, ain't it? Thursday night. I think that y'all's first one was Wednesday, but I think y'all are doing it Thursday if I remember correctly at 9:00. Yeah, I think so. You can correct me. I can't really remember. Spring a long way off, still up here. Yep. This is when we see our cold /snow. If we are going to have some, there will probably be a few weeks of winterish weather. Cool. Yeah. Grayson's presentation reminded me of the stuff Ronnie Middleton uses to eliminate all yellow jackets, wasps, and hornets. He says it's called fipronil. Put it on tuna or meat that draws them. I get you. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that being a method. I think I talked about that last year. Yeah. Now in my presentation I did not talk about trapping them. I probably should have, because I'm sure a lot of people might curious kind of how you should trap them. Like I mentioned earlier, we haven't really been accustomed to them yet, because they're not here in Alabama. I mean, actually, I really don't know, but I'm just saying because I don't see any here, so I'm not really, so haven't needed to kind of find out what I need to trap them. Now, if I see some, that will change, but I'll figure out things to trap them or whatever. But I haven't seen any around here. If y'all seen some, maybe make sure to take some pictures and send them around here. I always interested to see that type of stuff. Yes, Grayson, usually Thursday night after Ricky's live. That's right. Okay, I'm gonna go back up in the comment section, make sure I didn't miss any comments, because there's actually a couple comments in my last live stream where I missed. There's some good questions that I missed. And I was like, man, I should have answered those, but I forgot. Grayson, do you know how far north they are possibly able to survive? Now, honestly, I don't know the exact, climate where they're able to live at. I'm sure somebody can, you know, Google it. I might look it up sometime. Get information on it. So honestly, I don't know exactly, but what I would think would that they might, but I think they thrive. I think they thrive more in the south. But possible that they can go a little bit more up north. Tennessee, Kentucky, um, maybe Indiana, maybe some of those states. But I don't think they would really do that well. Up in New York, Pennsylvania. I don't think they do good up there in Michigan. They might be able to survive, but honestly, I don't know the exact temperature which they wouldn't be able to survive. That might be some research that I might want to do to kind of learn about that. Wow, already catching swarms. Caught my first swarm of the year today here in Southwest Florida. Real quick, I'm gonna do some quick little research here about what Shane just asked, because I want to try to give him a good answer. So it might not pop up anything, but with swarms, I plan to put up some swarm traps up here soon. I've talked about a lot about that before. Trying to get ready for swarm season, so I always get to get it out early here in February. So the next couple of days, weeks, I'm gonna get them set up. For catching some swarms. I caught a lot of good. I caught some swarms last year. With what I did was I did double nukes. The bottom one's empty, top one had frames. One drawn out foundation in the middle, and two outside were empty. And put some lure on it, and it worked perfect. I caught two swarms that I set out, but one of them I caught it for about a day, but then it left. So I asked many people, do I count that as a catch or not? And many people said, yeah, catch it. You probably should count it as a catch. So I caught two last year. Just unfortunately, one left and decided that they didn't want to be there. And it was my mistake. I didn't, the first one that I caught was fine. Didn't have to do anything. I didn't even put the queen I didn't put a queen excluder on the bottom board, not let her leave. But somebody recommended that I put a queen excluder on top of the bottom board, just not let her leave. Make sure there's no cracks and various other things. Make sure they stay. Let her start laying some eggs, some brood, and then they'll stay. Probably should have done that, but I did not. So that was my mistake. But I'll do that next time. And it'll probably be much better. I'm doing some, can't really find anything yet. I might probably have to do this after live stream, because it'll probably take a while to find some accurate sources. But just kind of looking through, see kind of how up north they can live. While you guys really are way ahead of us. Now, down here, we get, we are kind of far ahead. But, we also have to be careful. And a lot of beekeepers down here even do splits. After this live stream later on, I'll probably do some more research on that. That's a pretty interesting thing. How far up north can they live? I would think they probably do okay, but they probably do better down here in South. So, like I said, you probably just kind of watch out for them around, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, the neighboring states of Georgia, because that's where they, started up as. And I forgot exactly what county it was in. I think it was some small little county that the first kind of queens, or maybe even a little nest was found, and they eradicated it, but they spread a little bit. So that's kind of what I heard on it, and then even they started to spread into some other states, mainly South Carolina as well. Shane, I think I heard cold has no effect on them. Oh, we were talking about DC, the Yellow-Legged Hornet, if how far north it could survive, if what up north, if if they can survive or not, if they can do well. I get that's kind of I think that's I'll pull up the question. That's what he was saying. He said, "Do you know how far north they are possibly able to survive?" Now, also, I was kind of thinking is that they might not have no effect on them, that they would be able to overwinter normal. Hold on, I'll Google it. Rich is in Northport, Florida, just south of Englewood. Yeah, we're down here in South. I'm down here in southeastern Alabama. So like I mentioned, many beekeepers down here do splits. Bruce will. I've seen Bruce do splits down here around this time of year, and I don't do that though. I've talked a lot about that before, but I'll do it whenever the bees start making swarm cells. That's another thing. I'm building equipment to kind of get ready for this upcoming season because I have a lot of colonies right now that don't even have lids on them because I ran out of lids. Many of them just have inner covers. Now the inner covers work. It's just kind of for the time being type of thing. They work. They're fine. They did well over winter that way. But I prefer just a regular top cover on it. So I'm building some for myself that are probably more cheaper. If I do it myself, I think it probably cost me just about $15 to maybe $14 to build myself. Not that expensive for myself, and build a couple of them and put them on some of my colonies for its upcoming season. I kind of want to get some wood, build up on equipment. I like to build my own equipment, and I know some beekeepers who like to do that as well. Phil Wood, on your way in, make sure to click the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. We have about 13 more minutes, then we'll get close to ending the live stream. We have 24 folks on here. A lot of people. Thank you for checking in. Okay, this is a good question. How does the hornet overwinter, as a single queen or cluster? Let's see if I can pop the thing back up. I didn't really have it up, but just kind of show you. So it overwinters as a single queen. I kind of talked about it during the presentation, and I want to pop it back up for y'all real quick. So let's go to this one right here. So no, not that one. It's the cycle. So it's man, these buttons. I'm starting to click buttons. So I guess we'll start out with winter. So like I kind of talked about, they overwinter as single queens. Not a little bit different, much different than bees. They don't overwinter as clusters. They don't have no workers, just the single queens. So the queens will emerge in spring. They start building the primary nest. That's where the nest building, and then they have a couple first workers. Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. Not that many. So this is where then in summers, whenever they build colonies, these hives, and start, going after bees, and then they also make a secondary nest. And they'll build a secondary nest and colony growth. That's whenever they get pretty big. And then autumn is whenever the extinction of the nest, death of males and workers. Now with bees, the males they die because the bees kick them out, but the workers live and the queen lives and they overwinter as a cluster. But with these, they just go into winter with single queens, no males or workers, and then they go into winter, and then it just kind of recycles like that. Hey, Dennis Sherrill, thanks for checking in. We busted our colonies open to see numbers, which are great. One had 3 deeps packed out. Woohoo! Yep, I checked mine too, and they are looking. All my bees are looking good. Glad to hear y'all are looking good as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I still have all 13 colonies, so I'm gonna see what I can get up to this year. Probably around 20 at the most, maybe 21. According to Google, the yellow-legged hornet cannot survive prolonged freezing temperatures. That's what I was kind of thinking. I I looked on Google as well, but it didn't really give me that much of an answer. Let's see. For me, it says they are highly adaptable with populations found in areas that experience cold temperature, winters. I think that's what it says. Now for it might be just saying for others, for the other countries, but I think they probably do much better than better down south. They are not ground nests, are they? Maybe they are a tree nest. Usually they are in tree nests. They're up real high. So that's the reason why a lot of times it's hard to detect them. Is because a lot of times they build nests up high. A lot of times, sometimes they do build hives lower, and you can see them, but a lot of times they'll build them up higher. They all let me know if they do. They might build ground nests. But from what um from what I've researched and all, they primarily build tree nests up high too, so it's kind of hard to detect them. I wonder if the male yellow jackets die when mating too. That's a good question. I'm not sure. And I know our drone male honeybee drones die when they go on the mate, but they might too. So I looked it up on here. It says that they do. So male yellow jackets die shortly after mating, and that is typically in late summer or fall. So following this, they perish while the newly fertilized queen seeks out hibernation sites to survive the winter and start new colonies the following spring. So I guess yellow jackets pretty similar to these hornets, in overwintering. Shane, I've learned Google is my friend. I use Google Google a lot, Google stuff, and figure out things. It's a quick, easy way to find out answers, whatever. Sometimes I do like to go on forums and stuff and like work and read a whole bunch of stuff and find stuff like that way. But a lot of times I'll use Google to research stuff and then go into some other forums and where you can get other answers as well. That's true as well, Randy. In many cases, that's true, but sometimes it depends on how you ask the question. That's right. A lot of times, if you ask the question wrong, it might give you a different answer. That explains why it has issues with. Yeah, I think they are paper nests. So they make it out of paper. Paper nests, and yeah. I was gonna look at a question. Oh, no, that's actually just a comment. Now, Sherelle, I have a queen I'm going to pinch because she is not producing like the other colonies I have. I get you. I checked all my queens just to make sure they're producing well. Oh, I got a little ladybug. Let me get that off my camera. They're all doing well so far. Check some more later. I haven't checked all of them. I just checked a couple. Their nest looks like paper nests, same as European and bald face nests. Yep, that does explain that because they, like I said, I think they do better down south. So most people who are gonna might have issues if they start to spread even more rapidly. It'd be southern states, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, warmer climates, but I don't know if they'll spread that fast. You just kind of have to watch it and kind of see what happens. People probably will look it up, or keep on the lookout. Well, I guess we have about 5 minutes left. Soon we'll kind of get ready to kind of close things down. They have 21 people on here. If you haven't already, make sure to click that thumbs up button on your way in, or if you're about to leave, make sure to click the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. Tonight's chat was real good. We were able to talk about the Yellow-Legged Hornet, try to spread some awareness. I'm not trying to panic anybody. We're not trying to, with all our, kind of talking about it, figuring out different things, kind of learning from each other. Not trying to stress anybody out or panic. Don't panic or anything. Just trying to, be on the lookout. Always be proactive. Always get to, prepare for things, just in case if there were to be a rapid expansion, if they start to expand to other states. They're kind of already starting to move up into South Carolina, and already in Georgia. So always good to be on the lookout. That's kind of the main reason for this, chat. Kind of talk about it a little bit. It was a great chat, but I have to go back and watch the repeat. My fault for being late. No worries. Shane. The replay is there if you want to go back and look at the presentation. The presentation wasn't that long. I think it lasted about 20 minutes. So, if you go back and want to watch it or whatever, you don't have to watch the whole thing again. You just go right into the presentation. I'll try to mark everything. I try to do that and make it easy for everybody. Just to find each little little points throughout the video. Sometimes makes it easier, but you can just go to one little spot when it ends, click off on the presentation. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. Click the thumbs up button on your way out. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my Etsy shop. If you already have, check it out. Thank you so much for doing so. If you haven't already, make sure to check it out. And follow it or favorite something, or if you like something, you can buy it. I appreciate y'all. And the same thing with the QR code. So other than that, thank you so much for watching. And we will see y'all next time. Good night, everyone.